Hello, welcome to the Live in the UK test flashcards that I'm going to read from this set. Of questions and answers. Chapter A Long and Illustrious History. Is the following statement true or false? Wales unified with England during the rule of Henry VIII. Answer: true. During King Henry VIII's reign, Wales and England united under the Act for the Governance of Wales. Chapter A Long and Illustrious History. Which all these questions are. So if it changes, I will put it on another group and say it. I'm starting, so let's go from the get-go. Which statement below is correct? A. The Industrial Revolution was a swift advancement of industry during the 8th and 19th centuries. B. The Industrial Revolution brought changes in the banking system in the 1970s. Answer is A. The advancement of machinery revolutionized sectors like manufacturing and mining, giving the UK industrial dominance from the beginning to the 18th century to the end of the 19th century. Is the following statement true or false? At the Battle of Trafalgar in 185, Admiral Nelson was victorious over the German fleet. Answer: false. In 185, Admiral Nelson emerged victorious in the Battle of Trafalgar by defending the combined French and Spanish fleet. By defeating a combined French and Spanish fleet. Tragically, he lost his life during this battle. Which two of these works are plays written by William Shakespeare? A. Oliver Twist. That's from Dickinson. B. Romeo and Juliet. Of course. C. A Midsummer Night's Dream. D. Pride and Prejudice. The answers B and C. In addition to the many plays written by Shakespeare, are Romeo and Juliet and A. Midsummer Night's Dream. And as A Midsummer Night's Dream, which are B and C. Which statement below is correct? A. In 1660, Bonnie Prince Charlie became the King Charles II of England. B. King Charles of Scotland was reinstated as King Charles II of England in 1660. B. Charles I was executed At the end of the Civil War, his son Charles II was crowned King of Scotland by the Scots, and following his defeat by the English, was exiled. He was later reinstated to the throne of England in 1660 when the Republican Commonwealth collapsed. What significant event occurred in England in the year 1066? A. The construction of the Dick. B. The Romans departed from England. C. The Battle of Bannockburn. D. The Norman invasion. The answer is D. In 1066, William of Normandy conquered England at the Battle of Hastings, defending Harold the Saxon, King of England. Which statement below is correct? The divine right of kings signified that the English monarch had the right to rule over France. That was number A. B. The divine right of kings indicated that the monarch was chosen by God. B. King Charles I believed that monarchs should have the authority to govern without seeking approval from Parliament. This belief was one of the contributing factors that sparked the English Civil War in the year 1642. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Glasgow is the capital city of Scotland. B. Edinburgh is the capital city of Scotland. B. Edinburgh is the capital city of Scotland. With two key areas so significant developments as a result of the Enlightenment. Which two key areas saw significant developments as a result of the Enlightenment? A. Politics. B. Science. C. History. D. Theater. The answer is A and B. In the 18th century, there were significant developments in politics, science, and philosophy, leading to the emergence of a period known as the Enlightenment. Geoffrey Chaucer is linked to which of the following stories? A. The London Tales. B. The Canterbury Tales. C. The Westbury Tales. D. The Umbridge Tales. The answer is B. The Canterbury Tales is a collection of stories of a group of pilgrims on their way to the cathedral in Canterbury. During the early 18th century, what were the names of the two primary groups in Parliament? Labour. A. B. Nationalist. C. Tories, D. Whigs. The answer is C and D. There were two primary groups in Parliament from the 1689 onwards, called the Whigs and the Tories. In the statement below, true or false? The official flag of Wales displays a dragon. True. Wales has its own unique flag featuring a dragon. The Welsh flag does not form part of the Union flag, which represents the union of England, Scotland, and Ireland, as Wales and England united long before the creation of the Union flag. Is the statement below true or false? The first successful cloning of a mammal was achieved by British scientists, and the cloned animal was a rabbit. False. British scientists achieved the first mammal cloning using the sheep named Dolly. Which of the following two well-known British bands have had a significant impact on the music industry? A. The Royal Family, B. The Beatles, C. The Rolling Stones, D. The National Trust. The answer is B and C. British bands, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, established in the 1990s and 60s, still influence the music scene in the UK and beyond. With which sport are Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, and Damon Hill most commonly associated? A. Football, B. Athletics, C. Skiing, D. Formula 1. D. Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, and Damon Hill are all British winners of the Formula 1 World Cup Championship. So these ones are from these last two questions are a modern and thriving society. Chapter. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Swansea, Cardiff, and Newport are cities in Scotland. B. Leeds, Plymouth, and Norwich cities in England. Answer B. Cities of England include Plymouth, Norwich, and Leeds. Which of the following two are famous British authors? A. Thomas Hardy, B. Marquand, C. Henry Moore, D. Graham Greene. Answer A and D. Thomas Hardy was an author and poet known for his works such as Far from the Madding Crowd and Jude the Obscure. Graham Greene was also a prolific writer with novels like The Heart of the Matter, The Honorary Consul, Brighton Rock, and Our Man in Havana. Which statement below is correct? A. Elizabeth I maintained positive relationship with Parliament. B. Elizabeth I's handling of Parliament was poor during her rule. From the chapter of A Long and Illustrious History, the answer A. Elizabeth successfully managed her relationship with Parliament. However, her successors, James I and his son Charles I, were notably less skillful in their handling of Parliament. For A Long and Illustrious History, which two groups were connected with King Charles I and Parliament during the English Civil War? A. Cavaliers. B. Tories. C. Roundheads. D. Luddites. Answers are A and C. Followers and supporters of the king were referred to as cavaliers, while those supporting Parliament were known as Roundheads. From A Long and Illustrious History chapter, the Restoration refers to the reinstatement of Catholicism as the official church in the 17th century. False. The term the Restoration is reference to the reinstatement of the monarchy in 1660, when Charles II returned from exile following an invitation from Parliament. Chapter from A Modern Thriving Society. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The National Trust is a charitable organization dedicated to the preserving important structures in the UK. The National Trust is a government. That's B. The National Trust is a government administered institution that allocates financial support to charitable causes. That's A. Answer is A. The National Trust in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, along with the National Trust for Scotland, are dedicated to safeguarding and preserving important buildings, coastlines, and rural areas. That answer for A. Hello. This series of questions belong from the chapter Long and Illustrious History. Which of the following statements below is correct? A. In 1588, England successfully defeated an invasion by a Spanish fleet of ships. B. In the year 1588, England successfully defeated an invasion by a German fleet of bomber planes. Answer is A. The Spanish Armada, a fleet of warships, made an attempt to invade England and reinstate Catholicism. Which two battles were part of the English Civil War? A. Naseby, B. Marston Moor, C. Waterloo, D. Hastings. The answers are A and B. During the English Civil War, the parliamentary armies emerged victorious in the battles of Marston Moor and Naseby. Which of the following statements below is correct? A. Mary, Queen of Scots, was not related to Queen Elizabeth I. B. Mary, Queen of Scots, was Queen Elizabeth's cousin. B. Queen Elizabeth I ordered the execution of her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots, for conspiring against her. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Henry VIII founded the Church of England to incite a conflict with the French. B. Henry VIII founded the Church of England due to the Pope not allowing him to divorce and avoid taxes. That's not related in the answer. B. Henry VIII required the Pope's consent for divorce. When this was denied, he formed the Church of England with himself as the head. Why is the year 1918 significant in the fight for women's rights? A. The introduction of the first divorce laws. B. Legal responsibility for children was granted to women. C. Equal pay legislation was brought in. D. Women were lawfully granted the right to vote. D. In 1918, women aged over 30 were granted the right to vote. Then, in 1928, women were granted the right to vote at the age of 21, the same age as men. In the statement below, true or false, Britain and Germany were the creators of Concorde, the supersonic passenger aircraft. That was with the French. False. Concorde was a collaborative project between Britain and France, not Germany. What was the purpose of the 1942 Beveridge Report? A. Establish a welfare state. B. Providing to overseas countries. C. How to end the war in Europe. D. How to handle the German and Japanese nations after the war. A. The 1942 Beveridge Report, also known as Social Insurance and Allied Services, proposed strategies for fighting the 5 fundamental problems of want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. In today's language, poverty, illness, lack of education, poor living conditions, and unemployment. Is the statement below true or false? Catherine Howard was Henry VIII's sixth wife. Answer false. Catherine Howard who was a relative of Henry VIII's second wife. Anne Boleyn became the fifth wife of Henry. Is the statement below true or false? The First World War ended on 11th November of 1918 at 11 a.m. True. The commemoration of the end of the First World War on 11th November of 1918 remains in place today. In the 15th century, which two groups were involved in the Wars of the Roses? A. The House of York. B. Irish. C. House of Lancaster. D. Scottish. A and C. In 1455, a civil war known as the Wars of the Roses began between supporters of the House of York and the House of Lancaster, ending in 1485 at the Battle of Bosworth. This is where King Richard III of the House of York was killed. Who did Hadrian's Wall aim to keep out? A. Vikings. B. Welsh. C. Irish. D. Picts. D. The construction of the wall in the northern part of England was ordered by the Roman Emperor Hadrian with the purpose of preventing the Picts' Scottish ancestors from entering. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Shakespeare wrote, "We will fight them on the beaches." B. Shakespeare wrote, "To be or not to be." The answer is B. William Shakespeare penned the quote, "To be or not to be," which is a phrase from the play Hamlet. Which type of government was established following the 2010 general election? A. Coalition. B. All-party. C. National. D. One party. The answer is A. The 2010 coalition government was established through an alliance between the Conservative and Liberal Democrat parties. What event in 1215 led to changes in power of the monarch? A. Magna Carta. B. The Doomsday Book. C. The Black Death. D. The Reform Act. Oops, there you go. The answer is A. The Magna Carta was documented, created by noblemen of King John that established fundamental rights that are still in effect today. On the year 1215, in 1776, Which colonies of the British Empire declared their independence? A. Australian. B. South African. C. Canadian. B. American. The answer is D. Australia, Canada, and South Africa continued to be part of the British Empire and became members of the Commonwealth, which allies are also sort of part of a Commonwealth. Everyone has their own terms, of course, as friends. In 1999, which two national organizations were formed? A. House of Commons. B. Scottish Parliament. C. The English Parliament. D. Welsh Assembly. The answer is B and D. Since 1997, there has been a transfer of some power from the central government, leading to the Scottish Parliament and the Welsh Assembly being established in 1999. This devolution of power gives those people in Scotland and Wales more control, handling issues that directly impact them. Is the following statement true or false? The Union flag is made up of 4 crosses, representing each part of the United Kingdom. False. The Union flag is made up of 3 crosses. The crosses of St. George, England, St. Andrew, Scotland, and St. Patrick, Ireland. What was the significance of the Magna Carta? It established a new system of free education. B. It gave women legal rights. C. It limited the power of the monarch. D. It gave all men the vote. C. King John was forcibly made by his noblemen to consent to the Magna Carta, limiting the authority of the monarchy. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Highland clearances took place in Scotland. The Highland. B. The Highland clearances took place in Ireland. A. The Highland clearances occur in Scotland when crofters were ordered to leave their land in order to facilitate cattle and sheep grazing. Well, this is for today, and see you on the next studies.